So hello everybody. It is me, Demetra K. Over here. Demetra K. And the recovering Democrat, Donovan Sadiq. And it is Free Flow Friday, the 13th. It's going to be pretty spooky, I'm sure, as always. Nothing new, right? So anyway, today we are going to just open the floor, talk about whatever, but we want to, maybe specifically talk about maybe some things you had some bad luck with, maybe in relationships or whatever, since we're keeping in step with the Free Flow Friday, the 13th theme. But Donovan is going to give us some news. And I want to say thank you to YouTube and Facebook for being the other side of the conversation on this Free Flow Friday. You guys make this so much more fun. Thank you to Marcus Guyton for everything that he does behind the scenes and making the show go further. And so, without further ado, we'll hear from the recovering Democrat. What you got? What kind of news you got for us?
Hey, you guys. Welcome to Free Flow Friday. I am Donovan Sadiq with my partner, the Demetra K from the African Diaspora Channel and the African Diaspora Insider, as well as some other platforms that she's probably on that she isn't trying to pay me. So, I got to figure it out. But anyway, thank you guys for tuning in. I know it's Friday. It's Friday the 13th. I started my day off horrible. I mean, it was just horrible. One thing after the other. And then I realized it was Friday the 13th. And I said, oh, that's why. So all the bad stuff that I've done to people, it's coming back on me today. So, hey, it's time to pay the piper. I got to pay it. So in the news today, there was a lot of stuff going on in the news. But one of the things that I have to say is, as a veteran, one of the biggest news items that I want to talk about is the Afghanistan conflict that we have been engaged in for 20 years. After 20 years, Joe Biden decides, I'm pulling the troops out. But this is the same guy that voted for it also, too. Mr. Joe Biden, gonna save everybody. But this is the man that wrote the crime bill and also voted for the Iraq war. So now he pulls the troops out. How many of my fellow soldiers, sailors, and airmen and guardians, whatever you want to call these new Space Force guys, have gotten maimed or killed? For what? For what? At the end of the day, for what? And the biggest problem that I have is, once again, the United States, we're not winning wars. We're over there being mercenaries and doing this dirty work for all these other people. Think of it's estimated that $4 trillion has been spent in a 20-year war that resulted in the same results we would have gotten if we hadn't gone. Think of that $4 trillion within the Black community, the $4 trillion within healthcare, $4 trillion that we could have done for infrastructure. They're debating a $2.3 trillion infrastructure bill, but we could throw that money away needlessly in a 20-year war that resulted with us getting our asses kicked and thrown out of there by people who run around in bed sheets. These are just the facts. These are some of the things this is why I'm in recovery, you guys. I don't see how you guys go out there and you talk about you're a Republican, you're a Democrat, you're whatever, especially if you're saying you're a Democrat, because they say they can't give us reparations, but this is what they give us. But they have money for this, they have money for that, they have money for this. Y'all need some damn help. You guys need to get into recovery. You need to admit you got a problem and get into recovery. So Nancy Pelosi, who could bring a reparations bill to the floor for a study at any time she wants to, is out doing a photo op yesterday with Maxine Waters touting the child tax credit. I'm not hating on the child tax credit. Congratulations to all y'all that can get the child tax credit. But this is what they do. They give you all of this damn fluff and we get nothing in the end. So again, congratulations, you guys, for helping Black people get nothing. Demetra?
Well, all right. So I see a few more of you guys are on. So Donovan was just giving us the news, because we don't really do that much. So he's just giving you guys the news from his perspective of what he's seen today. I haven't even watched TV in the last, I don't know. I'm lying. I did watch TV last night. It was Brian Murphy's American Horror Stories series. And I usually like them, but that one was just, it made me mad that I wasted that precious time to watch it. But anyway, what we're going to do today is just, since it's Friday the 13th, we want to hear from you all in the comment section, because as I said last night, we probably don't have a whole lot to talk about today, but then we remembered it is Friday the 13th. So we want to hear some of you guys' stories of maybe not having such a good luck, whether it's in a relationship or whatever. We want to be able to, talk it out, because you guys know we got stories for days, right? But before I do, I want to share with you guys a friend of mine. She has a t-shirt brand, the Diva brand. And as you can see, well, maybe you can't see because I'm not scrolling. Give me a second. Give me a second. She has, oops. I'm trying to figure this out. I'm kind of new to this. She has a whole host of t-shirts and things like that with different types of sayings. As you guys can see here, she has for adults, she has for babies, even really good prices, very unique t-shirts. Like, look at this one. If you are into astrology, what happened to Donovan? He's having more bad luck, you guys. I don't know. He'll be back. So if you're into astrology and things like that, she has astrological t-shirts. As I said, very unique designs. And I put her store into the description box. You guys can click on the link if you want to look through her things. As you can see here, she has hoodies. This one says, "Don't judge me." Looks like he's drinking some coffee, and whatever you like. Got pants and things like that. And so you guys go check her out at the Diva brand shop. Again, the link is in the description box. Hats and fanny packs, backpacks. So she's got a lot of things going on. I personally have this shirt here, "Make Black Wall Street Great Again." I'm going to wear it for you guys one day so you guys can see it. Very soft and just good quality. So yeah, check her out in the description box. A whole host of things in there. So you guys, anyway, let's go ahead and get to, oh, there's Donovan. I was like, what? They couldn't see that you disappeared. I forgot. So, all right, let me see what y'all got in this comment section, because we don't have anything necessary to talk about, but I want to see what you guys are going to talk about. So let's get to it. So Frank, what's going on with you? Kara, you say that was your day yesterday. So actually you were having a Friday the 13th yesterday. Well, for one thing, I don't know if you guys even believe in that. If you are superstitious, damn, take this. This is Carrie. If you guys are superstitious, I'm not superstitious at all. Like, and in the least bit, right? And so anyway, the Pioneer says, good afternoon, beautiful family. Yes, indeed. If I for black to say, Queen Demetra, King Donovan, greetings, peace, and power. Yes, indeed. Same to you. And Amanda, what's going on with you? Says Lizzo and Cardi B's Rumors is Fire. That's the name of the song. I want to tell you this. I listened to it, and what it sounded like to me was Lizzo's, it was like a Twitter reply, because she's kind of replying to her haters, people who are saying stuff about her being overweight and all that kind of stuff. And it sounded like a Twitter reply in a song. And so I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. I was on the verge of, well, I could have had a V8 type of thing. So, no shade or anything like that, but, different strokes for different folks. Gloria, what's going on with you? Long time no see. You says, good afternoon, Donovan and Demetra. And Kira says, agree, Donovan. They increased the military budget again. They're always going to do that.
Where do I got my stocks? Where do I have my stocks? And now, even though I complain about it, hey, you got to go where you're going to make some money, right? The military can screw up. Our intel failed us in 9/11. What did they do? Billions of dollars to the intel industry. We just lost another war. Billions of dollars to the military. How could you go wrong? Boeing, Northrop, Lockheed, Raytheon, all your military contractors, Halliburton, you name it, those contracts you cannot lose, because they're going to get their money regardless. We could be in a pandemic. People are sick and dying. The military is still going to get their money. So if you guys are looking at some stocks, look at the defense stocks.
All right. And so the Pioneer, you say Donovan is correct. It was pretty much useless war, which is why it wasn't really a declared war. that did nothing but make money for weapons manufacturers and mercenary groups like Blackwater.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. And Pioneer, we haven't had a declared war since World War II. There hasn't been a declared war since World War II.
Kojo, what's going on with you? Say good afternoon from Brooklyn, everybody. And Juggy, how you doing? He says, blessed weekend, fam. Yes, indeed. Let's all have a blessed weekend, right? And Pioneer says they aren't going to pull out of Afghanistan. I told people they're going to wait until the last minute to make up an excuse to stay there. And they're using the protection of the embassy as that excuse. Okay. And Fight for Black says, I'd like to talk about the force, the jab of the military personnel. Well, you know what? I would like to talk about it too, but unfortunately, y'all know on these platforms, they be censoring us and, taking down channels for doing it. There's one news outlet, it was a huge one, based out of Australia, I think it was, like last week or so. Their whole channel was just completely, not even suspended, but just deleted by Facebook. And they had, I want to say, over 1 million followers. And so while I would love to talk about that, I got to kind of stay away from it if I want to stay on here. If y'all get my drift. And it's not just YouTube, it's Facebook, Twitter even. So, but if y'all want to talk about something else.
Oh, by the way, in the news also, today is the day Mike Lindell, the pillow guy, is supposed to show all of his proof that the election was stolen. And Trump's going to come back and he's going to smite our enemies. And he's going to show you guys that God chose this man, a man that cheats on his wife, lies constantly, rips people off, murders people in regards to people that got killed during the Capitol and the riots and all that other stuff. Out of all the people in the world, God chose this person. Mike Lindell says today is the day all of his proof is going to come out and the Supreme Court is going to overwhelmingly just reinstate Trump and put him back into office, even though the Supreme Court is not in session. But anyway, it's going to happen today. Smite our enemies, Trump.
Wasn't that supposed to happen last Friday?
No, he pushed it back to the 13th because remember, he was waiting on his symposium. At his symposium, because he's trying to sell pillows, he was going to release all his evidence to show everybody. But the person that he had to do to look over his evidence said that he couldn't prove that the evidence was stolen.
Okay. Well, if he doesn't take the throne, it almost sounds like the Antichrist, like the Antichrist, was coming and, like a Friday the 13th thing. Maybe they chose a Friday the 13th theme where the devil being Trump is going to come back and take the throne. I don't know. Well, it's early. We still got a lot of time left, so you never know. All right. So let me get to the rest of these comments. And Amani says the music. So you said the music that, to the rumor song, you like the music. Okay. I don't really remember it. I have to go back and listen. But again, give us some of y'all, horror stories. It's Friday the 13th. We want to talk about it. What are some horror stories that you may have? I don't care where it comes from. Let us know and we'll talk about it. I'm sure Donovan's got a whole lot of them. Pioneer says, when I used to go to the Nation of Islam temple, they taught us that the white people saw Friday the 13th as a bad luck, day of bad luck, because the Europeans lost a series of battles to Muslims on that day. Yeah, there's a whole lot of, origins of Friday the 13th. To me, I always just thought it was a day of superstition. Bad things are supposed to happen to you on Friday the 13th. Of course, if you follow the Friday the 13th movie where Jason Voorhees is running around killing people, and first it was his mama, and then but I don't really subscribe to that necessarily, like superstitious stuff at all. It's fun in theory, though.
Well, my niece was born on Friday the 13th, so she's a Friday the 13th baby.
My birthday is often falling on Friday the 13th, but I was born on a Tuesday the 13th. Thank God, right? Amanda says, I also got beef with you for passing the email that needed to you touched the Moses. So that's my sister. I was supposed to do some work for her, and I passed it to my daughter, and I didn't do a good job. And so she's mad at me. Will you forgive me? It's Friday the 13th, so I forgot. And she said, Deanna said she's got beef with you as well. Kara says, I agree, Demetrius. Rumors ain't all that. So we're talking about Cardi B and Lizzo's song. Honeydew, how you doing? He says, look at my beautiful. Okay. Family. Great afternoon, y'all. Hello, Sunlight. How are you? Robin, what's going on with you? And Brandon, how are you? Says, did you hear about Tory Lanez destroying and rebuilding the entire music industry with his NFT album? What is NFT? Because I asked my daughter right now, what is NFT? And she says, I don't know. And she's like the millennial. It's I don't know. It's weird. She says she doesn't know. So can you tell us what NFT is? I don't know. And then I can be better. But I didn't hear about it, but maybe I could speak to it. The pioneer, you say, brother Donovan, in other words, the military is like the mafia. No matter what happens, they get paid, win, lose the war. Where's my money?
Absolutely. Pioneer, are you aware that just the day before 9/11 actually happened? Donald, if you look at the video, you go look it up on YouTube, Donald Rumsfeld announced that the military could not find, after a financial audit, they couldn't find $3 trillion. That was given to them over, I don't know how many years, but he basically said the military could not find, they were missing $3 trillion. And the records where that building was housed, where those records are housed, was building 7 that nothing hit, that went down mysteriously. And that's where all those records were held. So $3 trillion, 9/11 happens the next day. We're off to war. Nobody's worried about those tax dollars. That is just absolutely missing.
Unfortunately. So yes, Brandon, we're waiting for you to tell us what the NFT is. And Antoine, how you doing? It says, hello, Queen Demetra, brother Donovan, and room. Yes, indeed. Hello, Rick C. How are you? And Brandon said he's using the NFT technology to sell his album, and he only allowed 1 million to buy the album for $1, and they are allowed to sell it. Okay, that's a game changer right there. That is a game changer. He sell 1 million albums for $1. Hell, that's $1 million for him, and to allow them to sell it to whatever they wanted. That's gangster right there. So it says non-fungible token. Okay, got it. That's really a game changer. More people should actually think about that. Selling more for less, right? I like it.
Wait a minute. You know what? That's an old concept. Ask me why.
Why?
Pimpin's been around since Hohen's been around. So, that ain't nothing new. Am I correct or am I wrong? Or
something wrong with you. The pioneer says we have to be careful with what Caucasians call bad luck or bad days, like Minister Farrakhan's song, "What White Man's Heaven." Yes, it said if it's bad for them, it may be something great for us. Laugh out loud. Yeah, I mean, that's true. But like I said, I don't really subscribe to the whole superstition thing, or like you can't walk under a ladder, or a black cat walks in front of you, or you break a mirror, then, you're going to have bad luck for 7 years. To me, it's all funny, right? But I'm a little on the weird side too. And let's see. Brandon says it's all form of cryptocurrency. You would think I would know that since I have some, right? But I just be putting money in it. So thank you for the education. I appreciate that. So I don't see any more comments, but Donovan is putting in some links there, you guys. blackanddopeapparel.com. You can also get some pretty cool items there, t-shirts and stuff as well. Cornucopa.com, financial advice by one of the best to ever do it in the industry. Evolve Gears, also a good friend of ours. He has some nice merchandise there as well. All these things are black owned, y'all. So y'all want to check it out, please feel free to do that. Charles, what's going on with you? And so it says, and so we have wholesale food stores. They've been around a while too. Well, which stores are you talking about so we can talk about them? And the pioneer says it's racist Caucasians are calling Friday the 13th a bad day. As Black folks, we may have to adopt it as a holiday. If it's bad for them, it must be something great for us. Well, I mean, a lot of people do things on Friday the 13th, like parties and stuff like that. I mean, I just tend to zone out and watch Friday the 13th, or something like that, laugh. None of it's ever scary to me. It's funny. Like, okay, let me ask y'all this, since we're kind of like I almost said a word that a lady shouldn't say, but since we're messing around here, what Deanna knows what I was gonna say too. What is the scariest movie that you guys have seen? Because I haven't really seen too many scary movies in my lifetime that had me like scared to go to the bathroom at night, except for one, and I'll tell you guys about it in a little bit. But what is the scariest movie that you guys have watched to where you're like, oh my God, I don't think I could watch that again? All right.
Well,
So
you know, the funny thing is, remember when we were little, the scary movies in the 80s, we thought that like Friday the 13th and stuff. I mean, that's pretty tame now when you look at it, you know, modern age now. But back then, it was, you know, because it was all about the suspense and the horror and all that other stuff. But for me, I would have to say the scariest movie I had saw up until that time would have to be The Evil Dead. That was just unbelievable, you know, when it came out.
It was unbelievable.
Yeah, when it came out, it was just like, ah! So.
All right, I'm gonna see what y'all got up in here because I know it's gonna be some good ones up in here. Honeydew says, well, Donovan, it's right. It's right when NFTs, one item is sold over and over again, but owner never loses their product unless she gets or he gets older, right? Because you know you can have a stable of dudes out there on the track too. You know, I'm just saying.
No, there is you know, with this alternative lifestyle, there are a lot of men on the track here on Figueroa. There was a fight or something happened a couple of days ago with the regular ladies and the alternative men, you know, fighting on the track, you know, for space. I mean,
how would you know?
It was on the news. It was on KTLA. They were fighting on the track. I mean, I
don't believe you put too much information. It was on KTLA.
It was. They're fighting on the track. And I'm like, have we gotten to this point? Because, you know, here in California, they haven't decriminalized it, but they're not enforcing the prostitution part of it or the solicitation. They're still arresting the Johns and the pimps, but the women could be out there and stuff. So you got these groups that are just like going at it for space on the track.
I'm gonna take your word for it, brother, but I think he was out there as what did y'all say yesterday? Looking for some trim.
No, you ain't gonna catch this brother out there. Look, my mama told me a long time ago, there's too many women giving it up for free for you to have to pay for it.
All right, here we go. Felicia, how are you? And Brandon says Tory Lanez made $1 million in less than a minute when he dropped the project. Wow, that's really gangster. I can't tell you anything that he sings. My daughter likes Tory Lanez. Am I allowed to tell people that?
No.
Oh, she's supposed to. Are you in solidarity with Megan Thee Stallion?
I'm minding my business.
Oh, she said she minded her business. Oh boy. Okay. Sunlight. So speaking of horror movies, did anyone know another Halloween movie is coming out with Jamie Lee Curtis? Is she like 100 years old now? Jamie Lee Curtis is in her like 67 or something. And it's funny that you mentioned Halloween. Y'all see my do-rag?
Yes. Dr. Loomis, Dr. Demetra Loomis.
Yes, it's my do-rag. I like Michael Myers. And my daughter's like, you don't feel like he's gonna seep into your brain at night when you're sleeping? I'm like, that would be bad for y'all if he did, okay? Jamie Lee Curtis is she's back, you know.
Well, the thing is, with that new one that came out last year, the year before last, they have to do a sequel to that because it's they from part 2. No, it was part 1. They continued it on and just got rid of all the other stuff, so it's a part 2. But you got to remember though, she's also the daughter of a scream queen. Janet Leigh is her mother, and she was in.
Yeah, and Tony Curtis is her father.
Her father, yeah, but yeah. Psycho was her mom, Janet Leigh. That's where she got her start.
And then Brandon, so you say 57 seconds to be exact is how long it took it to sold out. Wow. Wow. Charles, you said like pimping and hoeing. Y'all wow. Hey, Ben, how are you doing? You said The Conjuring. So The Conjuring was scary to you? I saw it. It wasn't scary. I would say that my daughter said that to me, the scariest part was when they was down in the basement and then the whatever it was coming toward them and they were all freaking out. But that was about it. It was like, okay.
Well, I don't know. I remember for my brother and me, we were on Okinawan High School and Aliens came out and we were in the movie theater. No. And, nobody had ever seen the movie before, right? You had Marines in there, airmen and Navy. I mean, military personnel. So the Marines were all hard charged about the Space Marines. Oh, yeah, right? I never saw so much hollering and screaming in my life when the Marines were getting all ate up inside the beehive or the alien hive and stuff. Oh, it was crazy. It was crazy.
And then, Honeydew, you say Fallen with Denzel. I've seen it, but I don't remember it. I vaguely.
That's the one where the killer's body essence jumps into different bodies.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Okay. And Pariah's, how you doing? He says The Omen back in the day.
Oh God, yes, with one of my favorite actors of all times. What's his name? Gregory Peck.
Oh yeah. See, to me, The Omen is funny because I'm like, this is a badass little kid right here. He need his ass whooped, okay? And then you say The Exorcist ruined me as a kid. You know, I remember my mom and them talking about it and reading about it. And they said people were throwing up and they were horrified in the movie when, you know, they were watching it. When I was little, I think I was a little scared of it. But to me, it's funny because, you know, her head is, you know, spinning around.
Yeah, there's a lot of spoofs on it now.
So. Yeah, and then the soup is like, she throwing up green.
And I got a chance to meet Linda Blair. She actually comes up to our animal shelter and helps out up here. And, you know, tiny lady, you know, she's a little older now, but very, very nice. Very, very nice lady.
I remember her from Roller Boogie. Linda Blair from Roller Boogie.
And of course, Rick James, Slicky Ricky was getting that.
When people are trying to troll me in comment sections or something, I'll find the Exorcist meme. It says, the power of Christ compels you. And the Sunlight says, the last purge before COVID scared the hell out of me. The crackhead was terrifying. So you talk about the one with the black people? You know, that movie was prophetic. If y'all really watched that, I really believe they were sending a message to black people in that one. But yeah, it was kind of creepy, but I could sleep at night. I judge if I could sleep at night, then it wasn't too scary, right? Okay, so Robin, here you go. He say, Candyman, I guarantee you, none of y'all have said Candyman 5 times in a mirror, have you? Has anybody been so bold to say Candyman 5 times in a mirror? I just want to know. He said Jeepers Creeper and Bigfoot. Yeah, Jeepers Creeper, I saw that. It was kind of funny to me. Bigfoot, I don't recall. And I'm Wally. How you doing? It says Peace Queen and King, Demetra and Donovan. I'm always listening and watching, even if I don't comment in the chat. I just like to listen to y'all's perspective and our brothers and sisters in the chat. Well, we appreciate you for watching. Yeah, there's a lot of people who just watch and, you know, don't comment, but comment. We want y'all to comment every once in a while, even if it's to say hello. And the Pioneer, he says, The Shining and Carrie was pretty scary, but the modern horror movie Heredity is the scariest movie I've seen so far. My daughter's begging to differ. She's like, what? Well, that's what it says, Heredity. Hereditary. Oh, but she's saying it's hereditary. Okay. No, look, it does say that. She says, I can't read. It's the scariest movie I've seen so far. It gets progressively scarier, and it's also sad. Okay, I haven't seen it. I've seen The Shining, and I've seen Carrie. See, I was rooting for Carrie because I was
Red rum.
Yeah, I was rooting for Carrie because that's what they get. They shouldn't have been messing with her. So I was rooting for Carrie. And, you know, her mama, you know, messing with her, talking about put your dirty pillows away, talking about her boobs. You know, she didn't want to expose herself. And The Shining, yeah, Jack Nicholson, it was creepy. You know, he was on one for sure, a Stephen King novel. And then Honeydew says, strangely, there's a market for everything. Yes, you're talking about my do-rag. And Gloria said, for me, Poltergeist, I will not watch any scary movies anymore. We're down. Poltergeist was it was kind of scary because it came out in the early 80s and we were all
82,
kids, right?
82. And, you know, but isn't it funny how those movies back then, they really relied on Alfred Hitchcock's suspense. You know, you really have to use your own mind to really, you know, like in Jaws. Jaws was scary and you never saw the shark. The music was scary. Friday the 13th, the music was scary. You know, you're like, because you know the killer's there, right? It's how Halloween. You know the killer's there. And they always had that third person view. Mm-hmm. But here's what's really scary. The fact that Hollywood can't better what was done in the past. Even the remakes that they make of these movies totally suck.
It's too much gore, you know, because like you said, back in the day, it was a mind trip, right? Now it's just blood everywhere and stabbings. It's just like, come on, man. Is that all you got? Like, when they first remade, it was Rob Rodriguez when he made Halloween Over. Huh? I mean, Rob Zombie.
Rob Zombie. Yeah.
Rob Zombie. And it was just overkill. It was like, oh. God, Michael Myers was just doing it. Like, he wasn't even acting like that in the original movies. Like the nurse in the station, he stabbed her 11 times. It's like, I think she's dead, Michael. I think she's dead.
I have the greatest horror movie that was ever made, and I'm not going to reveal it until we get through some of these comments. If you guys are really interested, let me know, because I'm going to tell you what it is.
I wonder if we're on the same page, because I'm waiting to see if somebody is going to mention it for me as to what it was. All right, let's get to it. Okay, so where'd it go? Ooh, I'm behind in these comments. Okay, let's see. Poltergeist, that was the last one. Okay, and Juggy say passing some new laws in California. And which laws are those? You says a movie called Babylon. I don't think I've ever heard of that before. And Bookie, how you doing? It says mine was Jeepers Creepers. The first one, I was 18 years old when it came out, and I was terrified. I saw the first one. It was weird, but I wasn't terrified. But I was like an adult then, so like a real adult. And Charles says still won't watch certain scenes. And which movie is that? And Ben says they running Halloween in the ground. Yeah, this is supposed. I think they got one more after the one that's coming out later on this year, from what I understand. But I've heard that before, right? It said this is it. I mean, it's like, damn. Just when you think Michael is dead, nah, here he comes. And Pioneer.
Well, you know, after part 2, now come on, you guys. The first one was a classic, John Carpenter, The Thing. I mean, the man's a damn genius. But in part 2. He gets shot in his eyes twice by a .22 gun, and he's still. How do you explain him coming back in part 4 with his eyes intact, even if he did survive? It's
his soul, okay? It's his soul. He's not really there, okay? You remember, Dr. Loomis says he's not. Go ahead, give us a scene. Come on.
Oh, from Dr. Loomis?
Yes.
I was 15 years old when I ran across Michael. He was those dark black eyes, there was something to it. And that's when I knew. You know what I mean? It's just crazy. But here's the best part. Wait, what was that part where he screams? I forgot the part of it, but it's like, no, we gotta go back now. We gotta go and get Michael now.
That'd be crazy. Okay. And so Pioneer says, I remember one of Ice Cube's songs from 1991 was talking about the prostitution of Figueroa, calling them the Strawberry Showgirls. And it's still a place of prostitution after 3 decades. Yeah, strawberries. That's
strawberries, grapes, and hypes. But the sad thing is, you know, right now for you know, I don't know where everybody else lives, but like here, that's an old track that's been there for a while. And, you know, it's in South Central, but to see, you know, you're seeing nothing but young girls and, you know, want to be pimp gang members, whatever, that are on the track. These girls are between the ages of 20. Some of them are 19, 20. On YouTube, there's a guy that interviews them. His name is Soft White Underbelly. Go look at some of the stories, and he pays the girls to come interview and you know, see how they got there. And they all pretty much, especially the black girls, all have the same story. My mom kicked me out. I didn't get along with my parents. Blah, 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 blah.
You keep saying we're going to talk about kicking the kids out early, so maybe we can get to that after we get to these comments. All right, let's see what else we got in here. And Juggy, you crazy, talking about we in the scary movie. Yeah, you ain't lying. Well, what would we name it? What would we call the scary movie that black people are in? What would we name it?
The United States of America.
Nah, I got to be a little bit cringier than that. That's a good one, though. And Ben says the Rob Zombie remake of Halloween is the best one. So you like that one. I mean, it was okay, but it was just like, come on. Then he threw a TV on top of, I know him as Johnny 36, but Johnny Trejo. You know, he was like, Michael, I've been good to you. And then, you know, does them dirty. And that Truth Seeker, how you doing? He says Hellraiser was a good horror, the original version. Yeah, it was scary. The Pinhead, yeah, Pinhead was kind of creepy. Antoine says they don't make them scary anymore. Yeah, they just make them gory, right? And Sunlight says I didn't know that. And then Brandon, you say Michael Myers was woke. Okay, he says I'm down for anybody that's willing to kill my oppressor with a steak knife. Just listen, word to the wise. Take your little brother and sister trick or treating. Just take them trick or treating. That could have all been avoided if she was not being a thought, and she would have just took them trick or treating. I mean, I'm just saying, right? And then Honeybee says the last one is okay, and Jeremy says the House on Haunted Hill, the first released 2007 version with Taye Diggs. Yeah. It was a good movie, but I don't know about scary. What about okay? I ain't gonna give it away. I'm gonna see.
What about the Omega Man, Charlton Heston? What? Okay, wait. The Omega Man with Charlton Heston. There were 2 other versions of it. If anybody could name it, let me know. All
right, we're gonna see if we got some scary movie buffs in here. And True Seeker said The Thing was excellent. Yes, I remember my dad took us to see The Thing. Now that was kind of creepy because we was little when it came out. The creepiest thing is when his head came off his body and then it grew some legs. And
you got to be kidding me.
That was creepy, and the head starts growing legs and starts crawling. It's like, what the hell is this? Daddy, what you bring us to see?
I was mad when he was in the cage with the dogs. I hated that part.
Oh, I bet you did. Listen, my dad, he owned his own business and stuff, and he would get off really late, and he would take us to the drive-ins, right? My dad would get us in the drive-ins, you know, he's gung-ho to watch the movie. 5 minutes later, he's asleep. My dad took us, and I wasn't even 10 yet, took us to see all of Cheech and Chong's movies. He had no idea, you know, nice dreams, right? He thought it was, you know, about some ice cream because they had an ice cream truck and stuff. My dad didn't know they was talking about weed and stuff. He slept through all the movies. He had no idea what we were watching.
Yeah, you know, my Uncle Bennett, we would go to the drive-thru in Rubidoux drive-thru. I saw Conan the Barbarian, Star Trek, Star Wars, all that stuff over there, right? My Aunt Winsome would go and have my little cousins with us and stuff. And she would always go to sleep. We're in there going, yeah, we saw all the, you know, the Chinese Connection, Bruce Lee and all that stuff. And then she would always go to sleep. But the goriest movie I saw at that theater was a movie, I have it in my safe. It was, at the time, the goriest movie ever to come to the United States. It was originally called Lone Wolf and Cub, Shogun Assassin. Blood everywhere on that thing. It's an old, you know, kung fu type samurai movie, and blood was everywhere. It's a true story about a father who takes his son down the road to hell with him.
Sounds adventurous. And Gloria says, when the house was swallowed up, I had nightmares. Talking about poltergeist. Yeah, I know a lot of people didn't want to go toward the TV for a long time.
Well, what about the clown that dragged the kid under the bed? That scared the crap out of me.
And Juggy says, call me a menace while drinking. Wait. He said, no, what is it? Call me a menace while drinking the juice in the hood.
South Central, right?
I'm laughing. I'm laughing because when I read it, my daughter jumped up because she was horrified of that movie when she was a kid. Yeah, she was horrified. I'm like, it's a comedy. Why are you scared? I think it was somebody had, I don't know, jumped out with some ponytails or something crazy. I don't know what it was. Oh, okay. Char says, the evil was very good. If that ain't an oxymoron, okay. And Jeremy says, the house on Haunted Hill 2000. Okay, so I read that already. And then Ben says, spooky shit happened to the crew of that movie. You talk about The Exorcist. And let's see, if you guys are in Facebook watch parties or whatever, y'all click on the link and I'll be more than happy to read your comments. And Tawana, how you doing? It says Hostel. I watched it I only watched 45 minutes. I don't think I've seen that, but I've heard about it. Yeah. Oh, and then Ben says, nobody effing with Candyman, right? Has anybody said it 5 times in the mirror? I want to know. I mean, clearly you didn't because you're still here, right?
Wait, and isn't there another legend? Remember that girl, that Asian girl that got killed a few years ago at that hotel in LA? She was found in the water tank. Remember that
Why
lady?
she said his name 5 times?
No. But
Oh.
there's another legend where, like, if you're on the elevator and you hit a sequence of buttons, you'll go to the 13th floor. Yeah, the 13th floor. Now, anybody knows there's no 13th floor in hotels ever. There's no such thing as a 13th floor. And you hit these sequence of buttons, and it'll take you to the 13th floor where this phantom lady will come. And it's really deep, but it's a legend. It's an urban legend.
Back to California, let's go try it.
We could do it. We could check it out.
And Kojo says The Shining. So there's a couple of Shinings, and Honeydew says, we'll never say, well, not why you X out his, some letters of his name. You scared? So I'll never say Candyman's or Jeepers is definitely a cult classic. Don't be scared. And Cap G Pro, how you doing? He says, I've said Candyman 100 times in the mirror, nothing. Okay. So there you go. It's not real. And Jeremy says The Entity, 1982. That was definitely a very creepy movie. I remember she was like, "Oh, he raped me."
Oh yeah. That's when the entity like took advantage of her and stuff. Yeah, I remember that movie. That was, but again, it goes. Most of those movies, you had to use your imagination to what was going on. So they didn't use the special effects and stuff. It was mostly your psychological mind, and I think that's important when it comes to making movies. If you don't have an imagination, it just doesn't work. That's why everything's more blood and gore. But that was an excellent, because I remember when I was a kid, I was like, what the hell is going on? And I'm trying to figure out what was happening. And then when I realized, a ghost and this and that and so on and so forth. Oh, excellent movie, dude.
Got it. All right, here we go. Pioneer says, I won't give spoilers, but the reason I say Hereditary is the scariest is because it first softens you up with something very sad, then starts slowly becoming scary and scarier. You will not forget it. Okay, well, I don't want to watch that. And Charles says, you have, I think you meant the best voice for what she does. Oh, well, thank you. Some people are like, you're annoying. Shut up. But thank you. Robert says, I will never say Candyman in the mirror. Never. Yeah, I don't think I will either. I don't like to be playing with stuff like that. And Jeremy says The Entity was my first scariest, I think, movie. Yeah, The Entity was, it was definitely interesting. And I remember being a child seeing that. I'm like, what the hell is my mama watching up in here? And Juggy says Planet of the Apes, pretty scary. The original ones, though, the originals, not the remakes, the originals, like back in the 60s when it first came out. Yeah, that was pretty creepy. And Honeydew says the movies that seem real, like Texas Chainsaw, All the Wrong Turns, and Inbred Folks. Yeah, well, Texas Chainsaw Massacre is actually based off of Ed Gein. It's a true story. If you guys look Ed Gein up, if that's what you're into, all of those movies, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Psycho, and what's the one with Anthony Hopkins? Silence of the Lambs. Those are all supposed to be based off of Ed Gein. So, yeah, The Wrong Turns one. Yeah, I've seen those. It was pretty funny to me. And thank you, Angela. Thank you for the compliment. And how you doing? Jeremy says, Cujo upset me because I like dogs. I was watching that not too long ago. I was cracking up. And Cap G Pro, he says, my favorite line in Carrie was when the mother said, they'll laugh at you. My friends and I would say that if someone did something stupid. One of my favorite lines is when she says, those dirty pillows, talking about her boobs and her cleavage. And Brandon says, Salem's Lot is an old scary movie that I enjoyed. I saw that a long time ago. And Yahosef, how you doing? He says Nightmare on Elm Street. Yeah, Nightmare on Elm Street, the first one. Everything after that, because they made Freddy into a comedian, right? So it was funny, but then the first one was the scariest one. Everything after that, I was like, all right. And then Pioneer says she's right. It's Hereditary. I figured that. And he says, I misspelled it at first. I'm telling you, Queen, I know about Carrie and it was scary, but I'm telling you, Hereditary will grip you psychologically. See for yourself. I'm good. Thank you. Hey, Tracy, how you doing? It says, love watching you guys, and we love you being here. And Honeydew says, don't act like that, Donovan. You know where I live. Okay. Y'all want to tell us something? And Angela says Evil Dead, the original, saw it at the drive-in. Okay,
Yes,
so Donovan said Evil Dead as well.
Yeah, that was crazy.
And Honeydew says, oh, Puppet Master, all of them. I think I've seen the first one. And Jeremy says, I bet yours is Sleepwalkers, Donovan, because of them damn cats.
Sleepwalker was a classic. What was the cat? Clovis. Get him, Clovis. Get him, Clovis.
What about Cat People? Remember that?
Yeah, that was okay.
Yeah, Cat People. I think I saw you in there. Pioneer says, I've seen a few interviews by Soft White Underbelly. He reminds me of another Vlad TV, a cool, quote-unquote, white dude who goes around exploiting dysfunctional black folks and reinforces racist stereotypes. I've never heard of him.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, but he is known to be helping some of these chicks. They try to take advantage of him and stuff, but he's out there. You'll see him in his BMW, they say, rolling around.
Uh-huh. Mimi, how you doing? You says the thing was creepy. I agree. Yeah, it was creepy. That thing with the head running around with that was Shemesh, how you doing? He says, I Am Legend is Omega Man.
Yes, so, that is one of the three, but there was the original. And who was the star in the original?
Oh, now you want to up the ante, huh?
Well, no, if you got the star, that's great. If you don't know the star, that's no big deal. But there was a legendary actor who was in the original.
Vaughn, how you doing? He says U-Turn. Did we see U-Turn?
Yeah, that's the one with the West Virginia Joe Manchin people.
Oh, you're stupid. Yeah, that's the one where he was sharpening his little tool. He was about to be eating somebody. Because sometimes they all, like mesh together for me. Pioneer says one of the scariest black movies was Tales from the Hood, especially the ending scene. The last tale was very deep, dealing with urban violence and had a strong message. I haven't forgotten it. Yes, that was actually one of my favorite scary movies because, what was his name? Corbin Benson, I think his name is. And with the little slave dogs. And he was like, come here, you little niglet. And they came to life and they got him. Yeah, so that's actually my favorite scene in the movie. And Juggy says, MREC TV got a show called Spooky Hours. Okay, we'll have to check it out. Somebody got it. Angela, that was mine. Phantasm. My daughter knew Phantasm. Oh my God. That to me was the scariest movie that I've seen. I don't even think I was 10 when I saw it. And the tall man, and he had the little ball and he would throw at people and it got the dude in his head and the little, what do they call them, little doors? They was called something. They would be running around and stuff. Oh, that was so scary to me. Yes, it was.
Well, what about Song of the South?
I don't.
Uncle Remus?
You
story.
I was like, is that a scary movie?
They cannot play that movie anywhere. I mean, if you got it on VHS and stuff, they have like archived that away. Disney doesn't even want to be associated with it because of the way.
Racist.
Yeah, the racist.
Honeydew says, oh man, you got the shit. Yeah. For Tales from the Hood says, you want the shit? I got the shit. I'll give you the shit. And he just passed too, by the way. What's his name? Clarence. Oh gosh.
Forget Link. Clarence Williams III.
Yeah, he played in Moscow. Yeah, all that. Yeah, he just passed, by the way. So yeah, that was a good movie. Jeremy says they had to re-release House on the Haunted Hill because people were walking out of the theater the first 2 opening weekends. Really? Is that the one with Taye Diggs? I didn't get all of that from that movie, if that's the one we're talking about. And then Honeydew says the guy recently died from, Tales from the Hood, the older black man. And she says the clown was a real killer. Researched the producer and the murder actors. And which movie? Poltergeist. Yeah, because a lot of people did. The little girl died from there, and a lot of people died from that movie.
The older daughter got strangled by her boyfriend.
Yeah, something crazy. And then the old lady too. I mean, the little lady, something happened.
Yeah, something happened.
Bro, damn, how you doing? It says the Insidious series is pretty scary. Did I see Insidious?
That's the one with Mr. Boogie.
Oh, Mr. Boogie. Okay, so I saw it not too long ago, as a matter of fact. It was kind of, Pet Cemetery, Vaughn. Yes, Pet Cemetery. Now, see, that's when they were still making good scary movies.
Yeah, but it's based a lot of your best scary movies were based off Stephen King books. And that tells me one thing about Stephen King. You got to have a warped up mind to, conjure up that kind of writing and all that he does. Sleepwalkers. I mean, you guys have named a lot of the movies that were based on Stephen King books.
Pet Cemetery. The one scene I'll never forget is when, was it the mama or the daddy? I think it was standing by the bed, and then the little kid slit they ankle.
No. That was the judge. That was Herman Munster.
Yeah. Ooh.
Yeah.
Slit the back of his ankle with a knife. Oh my. Ooh.
But here's what I don't understand. How did Gage, the little 3-year-old kid, hang his mom and do all that stuff when they finally, found her and stuff when she was dead? It's like, how did the 3-year-old boy gonna hang this woman way up there?
Superpowers from the Pet Cemetery. Duh. And Z, how you doing? He says,
by the way, you guys, Demetra actually thinks my cat Tylan came from the Pet Cemetery. He was tearing up your feet.
Yeah, we're trying to tear up my feet. Z, how you doing? He says, Final Destination, the first 2 Saw movies, and the Blair Witch Project. Now, come on. I know you wasn't afraid of the Blair Witch Project. Now, Final Destination, that was creepy. That was a creepy.
The first 2. After that, it got silly.
The Blair Witch Project, that made me nauseous. I'm like, I thought we was going to see a witch, but they said there was people screaming and falling out in the movies. So I watched it, and I'm like, we didn't get to see a witch? Nothing? Okay. But, and let's see here. Hey, Monet, how you doing? He said, damn, it's Friday the 13th. No wonder this week has been shitty. I won't say I had a bad week. I mean, it got on my nerves a little bit. I had a stressful moment here and there, but damn. Okay, let's see here. Aziz says, and all of the Omen movies.
Now think about the third one when Damien is a grown kid and grown guy and he ran for office. Does that have any connotations to what is going on today? Think about that.
Maybe. Okay, I see you connecting the dots. All right, and let's see. And Jeremy says we had Bloody Mary as a folks tale growing up. Yeah, you're supposed to say that in the mirror 3 times, 5 times. She's supposed to come and scratch your face. I think I said it a couple times and nothing happened. Obviously, right? I was scared though. And Tawana, you say, I will never say Candyman more than once. I get scared whenever I see the actor Tony Todd. That came out today, as a matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken, the remake, and I don't think he's gonna be Candyman. Now listen, I done said it 20 times already, but I'm not in the mirror. Lord, this could probably be a mirror. I don't know. He's supposed to be in it, but I don't think he's supposed to be Candyman. It's supposed to be somebody else. And Pamela, how you doing? He says the Joker. The Joker was it was weird. The Joker was, I could see how people would be scared of it. The latest one, where not River Phoenix, Joaquin Phoenix. Yeah. And let's see here. And Z said The Fog. Yeah, The Fog was kind of creepy. One of those old little creepy movies where the fog was set.
John Carpenter.
But those are the ones that made you think, like, what the hell is in that? Like what's going on here, right? And then Pamela said the Conjuring movies. Yeah. I think I only saw one of the kind, and it's supposed to be based off of a true story. And actually, it was based off of a couple who would go out to paranormal events or where people saw paranormal things, and they would go and get them out. And the lady died a couple years back. Let's see here.
Wait, what was the one with Marlon Wayans? What was the one with Marlon Wayans?
That's the one that don't drink your juice in the hood.
No. He had one with haunted house. It was a haunted house.
Okay, wait. I got to put this one up.
Okay, go ahead.
I didn't say Precious was scary. You know what though? All jokes aside, Precious was kind of scary. It was dark. And and I know grown men who did not want to watch Precious. And I said, you know what? I don't blame you. It is a really dark movie. Like there was no redemption at all in the movie. The girl ended up with, and I was like, damn. I guess I can agree with that. And Monique, boy, she earned that Oscar, didn't she? Especially when she ran up them damn stairs. Let's see. And Honeydew says, Attack of the Killer Clowns didn't mess y'all up. I was young though.
Wait. Was that the Attack of the Killer Clowns or Killer Clowns from Outer Space? That messed me up.
Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if I saw that. It's an
classic,
old, right?
Yeah, it came out in the 80s. Yeah, it came out like 87.
Yeah. No, I'm thinking the one I'm thinking of was from the 60s, I think, or the 70s. It was like a funhouse type of movie.
Yeah, that's how Killer Clowns from Outer Space was. Had a blonde chick.
Yeah. So that was older than the 80s, wasn't it?
No, it came out in 87.
All right, I got another one, but I want to see if you guys bring it up in here. Okay, so
nobody's named mine yet. I mean, other than the movies, but that one movie that everybody.
So she understand Charlton Heston. Is that one of the people you were talking about?
Well, Charlton Heston was in the Omega Man, so not Charlton Heston.
All right, and Sunlight, you say yes. Nightmare on Elm Street gave me nightmares for years when I was a kid. Right, like don't fall asleep. I'm gonna tell y'all, Freddy Krueger would have got me a long time ago, and I just had to whoop his ass in my sleep because I am going to sleep. Okay, I'm going to sleep. And Pioneer says at Donovan, the original legend was Vincent Price in the movie The Last Man on Earth. It was one of the first zombie movies. I'm a zombie movie fan.
Yes, he got it. That's exactly right. The first I Am Legend was The Last Man on Earth, starring legendary Vincent Price, who also starred in Haunted House on the Hill and the Wax Museum one and all they know. He was in all that great stuff. And then there was the Omega Man, which is a remake 3 years later. Last Man on Earth came out in 1966 or something like that. And then 3 years later, or 4 years later, Omega Man came out in like 73 with Rosalind Cash, who one of your first interracial themes on TV or on screen. And then I Am Legend is a remake of those prior to with Will Smith.
Come on with the knowledge, brother. Come on with it. Hey, Art, how are you? And Cappy say Charlton Heston was a star of Omega Man. I think Rosalind Cash, was his girlfriend in interracial dating. See, should have just read that comment. And Pam said all the Halloween movies. And Michael Myers, I tied it in a knot now, but Michael Myers, that's my do-rag, y'all. Michael Myers I like Michael Myers for a whole host of reasons, but I like Dr. Loomis more. And I said I was going to change my name to Dr. Loomis one of these days, but it's for a reason I can't say on here. One of these days, I'll tell you. And yes, Children of the Corn, Malachi.
Now, who was the actor in Children of the Corn that went on to kick ass in 1980 movies with Arnold Schwarzenegger?
It was the redhead. Because he also was in Colors. And he was also in...
I'm talking female.
Oh.
I gave you the biggest hint. She was in Terminator.
Oh, she got a twin sister. And she was married to... Yeah, I can't think of her
Linda
name.
Hamilton.
Okay, yeah, her.
Linda Hamilton.
Yeah, Children of the Corn was pretty creepy, right? Malachi was acting up. I didn't want to know nobody named Malachi at all. Malachi, ugh. All right. And so Jerry says, yes, the one with Tay Diggs, they went all out with it. Special effects. Stephen King is warped looking. Yeah, Stephen King. But Stephen King usually does a cameo in all of his movies. He usually does a little scene or something. But yes, I read It. You guys know how big It is, the book?
Yeah.
Almost 1,200 pages. I read it. I could not tear myself away, and by far, the book is way scarier than any It movie you'll ever see.
See, but that's the thing. If you're not a reader, before we had internet and stuff when I was a kid, I used to love to read encyclopedias and space books and comic books and all this other stuff. And everybody's like, why are you reading all the time? Number one, I had a stuttering problem. But number two, was the fact that, to me, that was the only way I can time warp where I wanted to go. You know, I could go in the past, I could go into the future, I could do all of those things. And it's so sad that our children nowadays do not read.
Yep, I read it, and it's really scary. Now that was a scary read right there. Honey says, shaking my head just when I put Pet Cemetery Pet Cemetery out of my mind. So you gonna
Mommy, I'm coming for you. Change.
You gonna look under the bed at night.
I love you, Daddy.
I think my ankle hurt just even thinking about that scene.
Yeah, that was a clear-cut MRI. took his Achilles out, all of that. Fred Gwynn. Fred Gwynn from The Munsters and My Cousin Vinny.
Yeah. Pioneer says the different Amityville horror movies about a family who moved into a haunted house was also pretty good. They were scary to me because I briefly lived in a haunted house before and I left. For real, tell us about it. Yeah, I remember Amityville horror. That was kind of scary. And those flies everywhere.
Yeah, and that was semi-based on a true story.
Yeah.
Somebody was murdered actually in that house, and you know, it's semi-based, very loosely, but you know.
Mm-hmm. And then Honeydew says, what did you watch in Blair Witch? He says it was dark the whole time, waste of money in my opinion. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They was running around with a camera and it's like you needed a barf bag to watch it because it was making you dizzy. And then finally at the end, I'm like, okay, we gonna see the witch. Nothing. And those kids made millions off of that movie. I was gonna call it dumb, but somebody might like it. So and she says, all of Tyler, that's why I was laughing, Deanna, all of Tyler Perry's movies, how he makes us look like monsters. You also say a couple of parts in the movie Precious creepy. Yeah, it was just really dark. I never want to watch that. I've only watched that thing one time. I just couldn't do it. It was like, golly, this poor girl. And Dallas, how you doing? And you say scary movie. Okay, now because I'm thinking of the spoofs with the the Wayans movies. Yeah, scary movie was pretty. It had its creepy moments because it's like, who the hell is this? It was like a glorified Scooby-Doo mystery. That's what scary movie reminded me of. Jason, how you doing? He says, when Monique tossed that TV from the top floor. That and when she ran up them stairs, it's like, damn, now she should have got an Oscar for that alone. I didn't know she had it in her. All right, let's see. What else we got?
Wait, I got one. Glitter. Mariah Carey.
Down about to come get you. I like Glitter. I think they did. I did like Glitter, like the soundtrack. That was Tommy Mottola and them tripping with Mariah Carey. They did that on purpose, but that was a good movie. My daughter said it was a classic.
Then obviously you guys liked what was the one? It was a stripper movie with the girl from Saved by the Bell.
She says no, whatever it was. You know what he's talking about? Yeah, I don't remember.
What was it? Dance?
Showgirls.
Yeah, that was a scary one too.
Pioneer says, on a more serious note, many of these so-called horror, quote unquote, movies are disrespectful. They train you to be afraid of ghosts, but in ancient societies, ghosts are your deceased ancestors, and they were revered. Yeah, I mean, that kind of stuff doesn't bother me. You know, sometimes people are like, there's a ghost in the house. I'm like, shit, if it knows was good for it, better get the hell out of here. It better be scared of me.
Yeah, do you ever see that spoof where I don't know if it was on In Living Color, whatever, the black folks moving, the house is haunted, and the dad was like, you gonna be in here? You got to pay some rent. You know, he wasn't scared of nothing. He was like,
exactly. And Jason, you say Fatal Affair with Omar Epps and Nia Long. Oh my God. I saw that not too long ago. I was laughing the whole time because Omar Epps, the looks on his face was just like classic.
Trivia. Omar Epps, who is he married to?
I don't know. Who's he married to?
He was married to her for almost 20 years, and she was a singer.
Who?
One of the singers from Total.
Pam?
No, Keisha, I think it was Keisha.
Keisha. Okay, maybe I knew that. I'm not for sure. It's the remake, not the one from the early '90s. Not that it. The one that was made for TV. That it wasn't scary.
Yeah, that was John Ritter with that one. Yeah.
Yeah, but the one the remakes, those are pretty scary. I like the way they were put together. I like the story, how it was put together. Tawana says, "Oh Lord, have mercy, Lord, have mercy." Trilogy of Terror, starring Karen Black. My sister, thank God she's not watching that. Watching to this day, she is creeped out by that little voodoo doll that was running around. I sent her a clip not too long ago. She was so mad at me. That's why you don't be playing with stuff, okay? Pioneer says same thing with disrespecting witches. Western culture, through its movies, train people to be afraid and hate witches. In ancient cultures, witches are respected as wise women with healing knowledge. Yeah, I mean, I can see that. I always just thought of, the movie Witches is the one that's riding around on the broom like Bewitched, right? Which was funny. And Cappy say invasion of the bodies, booty snatchers.
Yeah, I mean, but which one? Are you talking about the one with Leonard Nimoy and Donald Sutherland, or the original one? I thought the original one was scary. Yeah.
Okay. What about the Blob? Now that was some scary mess.
Yeah, the one with Steve McQueen, because there was three versions of that. There were three versions. There was one made in the 70s and there was one made in the 80s.
The one in I've seen them both. But
yeah, I didn't like the one in the 70s because the Blob got that little kitten. I was so mad.
But I like both of them. But just the fact that, like, how are we gonna escape this ooze? Hey Sharon, how you doing? And Moni, what's going on with you? You say happy birthday to me. Damn, girl, when is your birthday going? It's gonna be next year. You still gonna be celebrating, man. You know what? Do you? It's your birthday. It's your birthday. And Thunder, how you doing? If I didn't already say hello, he says, why am I not getting the alerts? Oh my God, I don't know. But you're here now. And Sharon says, my two favorite people. Tell 5-star I said hello. Still love him. Hello, 5-star. Hello. Let's see. Sunlight says, Donovan, see if you know this one. Something wicked this way comes. You know that one?
I know what she's talking about. I just can't remember the title of it.
Well, that's the name of the title of it, I think.
Can't remember who starred in it.
Oh, got it.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever heard of it. And then she says 30 Days of Night. I've heard of it. Have I seen that one, Dana? No. No, so I have to check that one out. And Thunder says, everyone is saying how evil the 48 Laws of Power is. This book has sold millions of copies. My question is, who is buying this book? Because it's not mostly Black people. It's been around for a very long time. It's like based off of ancient principles of war, like how to manipulate your opponent and things like that. I don't want to say it's necessarily evil, just very manipulative, and it teaches you how to manipulate people. So that's what my father was telling me when I was going to read it years ago. You also say, wouldn't it be wise to buy and learn your enemy's tactics, especially if they're using them against you?
That's too much like right.
Well, I would just say, because I'm in public relations, right? And for one, I would say try to steer clear of your enemies, for one, right? But yeah, you I guess you can learn their tactics or just keep your nose clean, right? Stay away from keep your nose clean. I mean, I really don't even know where else to go with that. But yeah, sure, you want to be proactive and maybe trying to guesstimate what your opponent may do. But a lot of nowadays, people talk so much, expose their hands so much, especially in the inception of social media, you don't even have to guess anymore. They just tell you, right? Pioneer says, Queen and King, you are correct. Reading the books were much scarier than watching the movies. I didn't understand why as a kid, but it was forcing you to use your imagination and make up your own visuals. Yes. Thinner was a scary book to read as well.
And Stephen King, another one.
Thinner was a scary book. And you watch the movie, it's like, this ain't like the book. I just remember him describing when the gypsy touched, I think it was his face, and then he turned old or something like that. But it's just the way he described it. It's almost like you could just see his face aging and cracking, you know?
It's just like Jaws, the original ending of Jaws in the book. The Jaws just gets killed, and he just, falls away. He didn't blow up and all this other. That's a Stephen King put in there.
All right. And Carla, how you doing? He says, Black people don't read. That's why white supremacy is always coming up with evil plans against the chosen children of the Most High. White supremacy is horror in real life. You ain't lying. We're supposed to be naming our horror story. It was or I think it was, that says that we're in a horror story. So Black people. So what are we naming this movie? And
Roots.
Stop it. Jeremy said, Amityville Horror, Get Out. Yeah, Get Out was that was creepy. That was creepy. It had a little message and stuff to it. And then she says 28 Days Later, Part 1. I don't know if I saw that one.
Wait, did Jeremy say 2 movies? Amityville Horror and Get Out? Because Get Out by itself was a pretty trippy movie in itself.
Yeah, that was a doozy. And somebody says Donovan, laugh out loud, way back, Ray Bradbury, yes. That was the what was the Pendulum? The movie The Pendulum. Wasn't that a Ray Bradbury or that's Edgar Allan Poe? And Edgar Allan Poe. His stuff is pretty creepy as well.
Yeah, the Raven, the book was scary.
Yes, I've seen
the movie with Vincent Price was kind of, quirky. Mm-hmm. And guess who else was in the Raven?
Who?
Jack Nicholson.
Oh, he must have been a child.
Really young. He was really young.
And then you say, anyone remember The Gate?
I remember The Gate. I vaguely remember, but I remember when we were doing our horror series in the 80s.
I can't really recall. And the Pioneer says, I didn't believe in haunted houses until I moved into one in Flint, where several times an entity would freeze me where I didn't move. My father told me what it was, and I stopped. It stopped when I left. Word? For real? Oh. Okay. Because I always hear people talk about, they saw something or, things like that. But I never do, right? I never see anything. And I'm like, shit, I wish a motherfucker would. Not that I'm wishing something like that, but I don't know. I just think too, and I'm not saying you. I think a lot of times people give a lot of energy to those things, and they're scared and all of that. I'm like, come on, man. What I'm not going to do is be scared, okay? Unless you can.
It's a movie.
Well, they talk about it in real life. I'm talking about people in real life talking about they got a haunted house or they've seen things and, all that kind of stuff. But anyway.
Nobody has come from the dead other than, what did Jesus say? Other than I and the Father.
Lazarus.
Well, he brought Lazarus, but then Lazarus ended up dying again, didn't he?
I guess so. Sunlight says Poltergeist, the decrepit preacher or preacher imposter was scary as hell. Oh yeah, when it first came on. And Sharon says, Demetria Harris, off the chain, beautiful woman. I meant that in a good way. Us women tell the truth about each other. I appreciate that. Thank you. Yes.
Wait, so when y'all say, she a thought, that's truth. I'm just saying.
That's you.
Okay.
That's you calling people thoughts. But thank you. Yes, indeed. We need to start showing each other love on a more regular basis.
Absolutely.
And she says the so-called ghost might not be your ancestor, though. That's what makes the scary part. Yeah, could be somebody else's ancestor. Yeah, I mean,
remember in Poltergeist. Think about it. Think about this. In California, they're trying to get all this land so they can develop stuff. I think about this all the time. What happened in Poltergeist at the end? He just moved the headstones. He didn't move the bodies.
Right. Yeah, I mean, imagine how many people living on top of a cemetery somewhere.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but like they said in Poltergeist, go to the light. Go to the light. Tell us to take his ass to the light. And get the hell out of here, okay?
But how do we know that the light is the way to go?
It may not be the way to go. but you need to go, okay?
Because they were saying like when you go into semi-consciousness and stuff, and some people that have come out of it, they're saying that's just a form of unconsciousness when you see the light.
Right. Okay. And you also say, Donovan, no, nobody has named this horror movie that had the biggest twist at the end. Can you name it? Well, hell, which you talking about? Sixth Sense? No. And Monet says, in my parents' old house, I would hear footsteps on the floor where no one would be walking. I heard a voice coming from the bathroom calling my name that sounded like my mom, but she was in the kitchen. So yeah, I've heard of things like that before. And you know what? Can I just say this to y'all? I think just like we would be foolish to say that we're the only ones here. Like people say, there's no such thing as aliens. How do we know?
That's very hubris to say that.
Yeah.
In this big old universe.
Exactly. So there could be, some energies somewhere, if you will.
And they recently proved on Mars, they found organisms and all kinds of stuff up there. So that really disproves what a lot of people say, that we're the only ones here.
Yeah, I would think it's safe to say that we're not the only ones here. And I think too, if you hear something, that doesn't mean it's gonna harm you. Maybe it is a little creepy because you're like, your mama like, hey girl, I didn't call you. Yes, you did. I heard, because I've heard my name before, and I'll say something to my daughter like, did you call me? And she goes, no, I didn't call you. I'm like, oh, okay. But
well, we can say this. We know that we're not the only ones out here. The only reason we haven't in the last 60 years seen anything because those aliens realize these white people are no joke. Leave this planet alone. Leave people alone.
And then you also say, I saw and heard so many creepy things growing up. Yeah, but as a kid too, we're more aware because we believe, our belief factor is more in tune. When we get older, we stop believing, right? Kind of like the it thing where it says when you're a kid, you believe, but when you're an adult, you're like, you're too jaded. Pioneer says, at first I started playing and joking with the entities of that haunted house like they do on television shows. These beings are far more intelligent than humans. You don't play with them. No, you don't. That's another thing. So you don't want to open doors to things you have no idea of what you're playing with. Like people play with Ouija boards. It's like, why are you doing that?
Yeah, and isn't it funny how the Ouija board is in the kids section? Isn't that funny?
Yeah, people buy their kids that game. It's like, whether you believe or not, just don't play with that. Don't open doors, to the occult, if you will, because you don't know what you are messing with, right?
Now, wait, and also think about this. How many of us watch Scooby-Doo?
Yeah.
How many episodes did they disprove that haunted guy was not there? Several times.
Stop it. And B. Abdul, how you doing? He says, Chocolate Chip Charlie. I ain't never heard of that one now. And Thunder says, I find it amazing that when Black people start talking about getting power, some Black people start getting scared. Like, okay. Yeah, it's like it's do or die, right? At this point. And Monet says, anyone remember the movie Pumpkinhead? Yes, I remember that movie.
Lance Hendrickson, Aliens. And he was in The Omen, Part 2.
And it sounds like, so you're confirming that it is Keisha from Total that Omar is with. Okay, and Jeremy says, something Look at This Way Comes was one of my favorite movies as a kid. Okay, so that's, I never heard of that movie.
Something This Way Comes.
Yeah, I never heard of it. And then Mona says, good to see you guys together. Donovan and I got a chance to see your Costa Rica talking on your coffee platform. And then I seen Demetra. Demetra, was that your daughter with the braids? Just a beautiful lady. Yes, that was her. And Sharon, he said, my favorite, the 1950 zombie and black guy was the hero, but got killed at the end after saving everyone messed up for real. Well, at least he lasted to the end.
Yeah. Night of the Living Dead.
Yes. Oh yeah. To me, that was funny. And then Sharon said, so I tell on myself. That's okay. And the morning says, I hope you guys are not going to have to deal with extreme power storms such as extreme rain and extreme heat wave. And I just say that it's just that it's working out its judgment for Babylon.
Yeah, actually, the whole nation is going through a heat wave right now. So
yeah, climate
change.
It was raining here. It cooled down a lot today. And Pioneer says, sis, your father is NOI, Nation of Islam. He knew about Yaqub and the book of technology. Oh, yes. He says, the older I get, the more I realize how real book probably is. Book like 48 Laws and The Prince by Machiavelli. Yes, all about manipulation. From what I understand, I haven't read it, so I can't really say for sure. And Don, how you doing? He says the hills have the hills have eyes, the people under the stairs, and House of One.
Who directed The Hills Have Eyes and People Under the Stairs?
I forget who.
Same director, same exact director.
Who?
Wes Craven.
Yeah. He sure did do People Under the Stairs. I like that movie, dude.
And you're gonna see and you're gonna see Big Rames on his last on-screen thing with his Jerry curl.
But let me tell y'all about The Hills Have Eyes. That movie was disgusting. And creepy. Needless to say, I don't go toward those type of places, right? Because it could be true. And let's see here. And Jeremy says, Something Wicked This Way Comes, one of my favorite movies as a kid. Okay. And I'm not going to read the replies to each other. And Carmen, how you doing? He says, The Pit and the Pendulum. That's the name of the movie by Edgar Allan Poe. And who was Vincent Price in that as well? I remember as a kid.
I think so. I think he was in that one.
Oh, yes, In Cold Blood. That's a good movie. The
Wait, is that the one with Robert Blake?
Yeah,
Okay.
Robert Blake. And was Tony Curtis in that movie too? Yeah. So it was in 1950s. It actually happened. It was a real true life story. They murdered a family and this, that, and the other. And what is the name of the writer? She wrote the book, In Cold Blood, and never wrote again after that. She's very popular.
Wait. That ain't the same chick that wrote To Kill a Mockingbird, is it? Because she wrote.
Oh, that was Lorena Hand. No,
right.
Wait, was it?
I don't know, but I know she wrote and then she stopped writing.
Yeah, that might be. I'm thinking Lorena Hansberry. She's raised in the Sun. It might be her. It might be the same. Her name escapes me. Very popular writer. But that movie was very, very creepy because it was a true story, right? And they remade it. Actually, was Capote. Capote. He was telling it from his point of view. Philip
Seymour Hoffman. Yeah,
great.
Yeah, no, you know what? It is the same girl because Capote was the actual real writer's
friend.
Neighbor. They were neighbors in real life.
They were good friends. I can't think of her name. Somebody will put it in there. No, I'm sure. Pioneer says, someone mentioned 28 Days Later. My thing is zombie movies, that and 28 Weeks Later and Dawn of the Dead are among my favorite horror movies. Okay, so zombie movies. And somebody says Donovan, Jason Robards, and Pam Grier in Something Wicked This Way Comes. Okay, I have to check that out.
Well, because Demetra loves Pam Grier.
I do. I love me some Pam Grier. And I read her book, My Life in 3 Acts. Really good book. And Jeremy says, Get Out is what the house told the people. Oh, yeah. We're thinking of Jordan Peele's movie. Who refused to leave in 1979. But yeah, you ain't got to tell me twice, okay? Especially if you sound like that.
Get out.
Right. No, I'll be like, you get out. You know how much rent I'm paying up in this mug? You get your ass out of here.
How much money I save? That's how black folks respond to that shit.
Okay.
How much money I save? You won't be here, you're going to be paying rent.
No, you don't see too many movies about black people being haunted, huh? Mama talking about, get my belt. Get my damn switch.
But notice, usually in like horror movies, the black person always gets killed, if not in the beginning or in the middle, definitely just before the end, as we make the heroic save to save our white benefactor.
Right. And Angela says, I feel you, Demetra. A demon tried to visit me after my mother died. I wasn't playing that. Yeah, you just got to let them know. I'm not going to be afraid of you. You don't scare me. Go somewhere. I mean, and to be honest with you, I've had to say that a couple of times to something I thought maybe might have been off. And I told them, I'm not afraid of you. Go somewhere. Bye. And, nothing else. But, I mean, what you going to do? I mean, because if you think about it, if you believe in that kind of stuff, demons or whatever, there's always off energy in the universe somewhere.
Yeah,
right?
You mean to tell me all the hell I'm catching right now? Now somebody from a earthly spirit's gonna come and give me some hell too?
Right.
Damn.
Get in line.
Right.
Okay? Thunder says that would be the equivalent of me going to the beach, grabbing one grain of sand and saying this grain of sand is more special than all the rest. Exactly. I mean, we are not here by ourselves, right? And Sharon says the dead can't harm you and won't. Babe, caution of the living for real, right? I mean, but that's why I said it depends on the energy you give it. You know, if you give it that energy, then yeah, you know. And let's see. And Shemesh says we cannot see our own souls, but they are here, right? And we, you know, we believe in the ancestors. We believe that our loved ones that have transitioned, it's energy. Their energy is still here, right? It's not like it just completely disappears or it is buried with the body. Their energy is still here. Pioneer says, sis, trust me, it's real. Hollywood get their inspiration for its movies from what happens in real life. Older people tell you about real life as kids, but schools retrain you not to believe in it. No, trust me. And I was kind of joking when I said, are you for real? Because, you know, I've heard stories of people saying that they were haunted. I'll tell you guys a story really quick. Let me get to the rest of these comments, though. Jeremy says, if you hear a voice calling, then stand up there, Samuel, and say what the demon wants. So you're saying, ask them what they want? I'll be wanting to know what they want. What I want you to do is get the hell out of here, go back to hell or wherever it is you come from, right? Yeah, and like I said, don't invite the demons. Like, stop playing, right? Because I know somebody for real, who was playing, and they got a story to tell, right? They was playing, thinking it was funny. And Thunder says mandatory reading for everyone who's in the Black First. She says, Brigade, Dr. Claude Anderson's Powernomics. Absolutely, it's a must read. And Sharon says we got Good Rain as well. And Thunder says if you want something that's really going to completely blow your mind, there's a book called The Encyclopedia of Things That Never Were Read. This you say you read this when you were a teenager. Okay, Donovan's gonna write it down. He likes encyclopedias. And Thunder says 2 movies I can think about that were pretty mind-blowing. The Stand by Stephen King, also in the Mouth of Madness, and another one is They Live. Yeah, I've seen
Oh
They
my
Live.
God, They Live is a classic. It applies today. Obey, you know, consume, spend. I mean, all the messages were there. It's just amazing.
Oh, what is the name of that movie I saw as a kid? It was pretty scary. It's Alive. Y'all remember It's Alive with the baby and his little finger was sticking out of the crib? I was scared. I was scared of that one. And let's see here. And the Pioneer says, when Black folks did less drugs and ate more natural foods, they saw far more spirits and ghosts, which is why they used to call our people spooks. Taking Caucasian drugs and medicine affected this ability. Yeah, that's why they say too when you drink, that's why they call it spirits, because it inebriates you and it loosens you up mentally to where you may see things or hear things that you wouldn't ordinarily, like people drop acid and stuff like that. You're a little bit more aware from what I understand. And Jeremy says the bad guy from The Hill Has Eyes never got old with all of the scary movies he was in. You talk about the one, his eyes was kind of crazy like that guy. And Sharon says, you two people making me want to go for all the old movies. Like, yes, that's what I'm talking about. Woosah, get you some popcorn, something to drink, whatever, and then watch a movie.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. And then a lot of these movies, these really old movies that you probably haven't even heard of, you can see them for free on YouTube and on like Roku and stuff. They're all there. You just kind of if you're not doing nothing, just kind of and that's what I do sometimes. I just watch these stupid movies just to see their plot, you know, thinking. And sometimes you'll find a star that starred in them, that is a big star now that they had to start where they had to start at.
Mm-hmm. Wilbur, how you doing? You say Serpent in the Rainbow. That's the one with Lisa Bonet. It was kind of creepy because it was like with voodoo and stuff, right? I think I've only watched it one time, so I think a lot of it went over my head. And Sharon says Lena Horne and Stormy Day, I think he said. My favorite of all times, Switching. It's so funny. I have to check that out. And you also say dead people are my friends, saved my life many times. I've actually heard people say stuff like that. That somebody who had passed on, they saw them and they were able to avoid death themselves because they called them or something like that. And like, wait a minute, who is that type of thing? The Pioneer says, they tell you to be afraid of voodoo and witches, but Black folks had power with them. After rejecting voodoo and accepting their religion and science, look how many Black folks are sick and dying. Is it working? Yeah, I absolutely agree with you on that one. They told us that stuff was bad, right? And Sunlight says the movie The Gate touched on playing with evil spirits by playing 80s rock records backwards and has satanic messages. That part is true. Anyone ever done it? I have played records backwards to see if it was true. I've heard, I mean, can't say that I've heard anything definitive, but you know, it's kind of warped, if you will. But I have done it. And Moni say, this is a different twist to meet you. Most of the time you guys come on, I'll be at the laundromat on Sunday, but today I'm at it today, so I don't have to worry about it Sunday. I'm so glad to see you both, and we are so glad that you are here. And Honeydew says, most of all the American Horror Story series were true stories early on. Really? Because I love American Horror Story. I love Ryan Murphy. He is one of my favorite writers at this moment. Ryan Murphy does American Horror Stories. He's done the American Horror Stories. What else have we seen, Deanna? A whole bunch of stuff. He's done Pose. He's done, well, I didn't really watch Glee. Nip Tuck. Oh, that's a doozy right there. So I've seen most of this stuff. Ryan Murphy. But let's see here. And Sharon says, not all dead people are demons. Please give it up. Oh yeah, no, most definitely. But we do know that their bodies are in the ground if that's where you put them, right? But the energies are still here, if that makes any sense. But yeah. But again, that's Hollywood. You know, all people or spirits are out to get you, right? That's what they try to tell you. And Pioneer says the church tells you that a spirit of your dead ancestor is a demon and not to deal with it. Our people didn't believe that until Caucasians taught them. We revered the spirits of our ancestors. Absolutely. And we worshiped them as deities, right? So you're right. Until we got westernized, we didn't believe that at all. And then Martin says, Demetra, this is the year of the ox, and China represents Capricorn. It says, which means all kinds of plagues and disasters will happen to the land on dealing with agriculture, some high food price and floods. Well, we're already seeing that right now, right? I said prices have tripled in some places, especially with food and stuff like that. They also say, I'm loving the fact that the numbers are going back up due to the fact that there is a time, in my view, when it's time to shed everything down and remain peaceful and calm. And that's what should happen now. You know what? I say that to my daughter a lot regarding this pandemic that we're going through. So I think God is really trying to tell us something, because we didn't get it the first time around. And now it's back with a vengeance, right? Just when we thought it was over. And it's like, yeah, hold my beer, right? So I agree with you on that. And Cappy saying Rosemary's Baby. And that Rosemary's Baby was a trip. Those eyes. Penelope, what's going on? He says, my aunt, all right. He said, my aunt told me a story about a Ouija board when I was a little girl. I'm scared of them to this day. Yeah, I've heard a lot of stories about Ouija boards from people who I knew weren't crazy, right? So I just really chose not to play with them at all.
Well, what about Mandingo?
Ain't that a good story?
It's a good story. Remember, they put Ken Norton in the pot. Remember?
Yeah. And Donnie said these are demons that are not human. These are those that were disembodied by the flood and repopulated the earth with the giants, the men of old men of renown. Human spirits leave from here to go. Okay. And Honeydew, you say, oh no, I don't do the Ouija. People play too much or it's real. Now I'm telling you, I've heard stories from people I know were not crazy of things that have happened due to playing around, thinking it's a game. What's that? Warner Brothers. Who's the maker of that game?
I don't know the exact maker. Hasbro, or I don't know. One
of them, yeah.
But that's what Hellraiser was about. Remember, it was the box.
To get the box, yeah.
Once you mess with that box, the monkey paw. People that mess with the monkey paws, stuff like that.
And then Penelope says, I don't watch horror movies. I watch them. I mean, I don't.
I like them.
Yeah, I like them. I don't put too much stock into them. I watched one last night that pissed me off. I was like, he could have kept that one for real. And Marty says, I can tell you from somebody that has different types, when you are working in the spirit, you know better, know what you're doing, and you And why you're doing it has a way of coming back 10 times more. You know what? I believe that too. I believe people open doors you have no business opening, leave well enough alone, if you will, And you say, the curse from the daughters of Zion that anger God, the times is slowly up. We're 630 years out of it. The time was supposed to have been up after 400 years. So now slowly white supremacy getting what's due to them. Better believe it. And Sharon says the bad and the evil goes after the bad and the evil. Now that makes sense. So set out to do good things, right? And Thunder says, I find it interesting that everything that we have, from the music to the pictures on the wall, everything is satanic. I could have one question where can we buy things that are holy and angelic? Well, it depends on who you listen to. Because, I've gone to church where I was told, hip hop is evil, it's demonic, and R&B is demonic. And it's like, okay, what I'm not going to do is stop listening to hip hop. So I guess, so be it, right? Now, I do believe there's some music that you listen to that has very evil, connotations, and I don't suggest you listen to it, but it's your choice. And I'm only saying, let's be clear, the Caucasian race still fears us because they know their time is up. I've seen it within the census. Their population has dwindled by over 10%. Asians have increased by 35%, and blacks only 15%. Yeah, so we need to get out there, Donovan. We need to get out there and start populating the planet. Start making some babies out there. Come on. What you waiting on? I would help you, but the factory's tied up. Nothing.
Financially, it's just nobody's getting the check off me.
Come on, man. You balling. You can afford like 10 more kids. Come on. I'll babysit for you while you go to the store and come right back.
Yeah, say that now, right?
Come right back. Okay. And Honeydew says, yeah, the American Horror Story, Haunted House, Insane Asylum, Witches, and Carney People were all real stories with a spin on it. Okay, so the original one was, what was the name of that one? The one with Meat and all of them on there?
That was
Was it Circus?
Freak Show.
Freak Show. Yes, Freak Show. I actually like that one. That was the Ryan Murphy American Horror Story. The Coven was one of my favorite ones. And let's see. He said, laugh out loud at Rosemary's Baby, those eyes. He has his father's eyes. Yes. They was all scared. And Honeydew says, we ain't scared of Mandingo. You know what I'm saying? That's why I said that's supposed to be a scary movie. Listen, I had to as well, Honeydew. And Partner says, Brother Donovan mentioned what kind of mind writers like Stephen King has to come up with these twisted plots. Many of them use drugs for inspiration and imagination. I actually listened to an interview with Stephen King once, and he says, because somebody asked him, like, how do you come up with the inspiration for a lot of the stuff? And he says, well, he said he sits in a room with a red light, a dark room with a red light. And he says, like, if I had to think of something, he says, imagine, and everybody does it, right? So this is pretty creepy. He says you're going to a room and it's dark and you're looking for the light switch and you're trying to find it. We've all done it. You try to find the light switch and something puts his hand on top of yours and then raises it up to help you find the light switch. I was like, so every time I think of that, when I do that, I'm like, well, damn. And let's see here. As Sherry says, walking down the hallway one night in the dark, someone was breaking into my house. I didn't know it was something. Tripped me up with the gun in my hand. It went off, pop, 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 feet running. Wow. So you didn't know it, but something else did. So the ancestors or somebody, spirit guides or whatever was looking out for you, guardian angels, if you will. I definitely believe in those things. Definitely. Because like you said, you didn't know it, but they did. And Honeydew says, come on, I make my own money. And Donovan says, anyone figure out the best horror movie twist of all time? Nope. And Pioneer says, I take a more pragmatic approach. Demons are real, but they are people. He says, demon is a Greek word that comes from the same root as diamond, which means shining bright one, which people looks bright. Okay. Never heard of that, but you learn something new every day. Sarah says, I have 3 holes in my wall, a hallway ceiling from a Mac 9. Well, damn. You packing. And the Thunder says the inspiration for a lot of these movies can be summed up in one quote. Cocaine is a hell of a drug. Rick James. Morning says most people that have a demonic persuasion, they don't get off into really praising God. So I watch who I hang around. I do not have time to deal with demonic filled people. I choose God first. And Thunder says also another good movie, the Wishmaster series. Yes, but you know what, Marty, you hit on something very important. Watch the company you keep. Be careful of people you hang around because you don't know what they are doing in their own private lives, and the things.
But even the energy some people have, just that if they're negative and that negative energy, do you really want to be around that?
And I used to go to church. I went to church for a long time, and I was given my gifts, if you will. And one of my gifts are discernment of spirits. Now, I never knew that's what it was called, but I always knew I had it. Like I can sense things. And I can sense when people are horrible people. And I've only felt that maybe 3 or 4 times in my whole life about people. Like
I went to confession. We're good now. Everything's good.
Whenever I would come over your house, I would throw holy water down on the ground. I was like, okay, I'm good. But I've only felt that with a couple of people in my life. And they just made me so uneasy. And I had to warn people about those people. And a lot of times they didn't listen, and it was bad for them in the end. I was like, I tried to tell you, that person was horrible.
So ladies, all your girlfriends that were telling you about that dude that you shouldn't date.
That ain't how it works though. Because, I kind of could say that because we call those red flags, right? When it comes to relationships, they call red flags. But yet, the water gets muddied because we like that person and they cool and okay, it ain't that bad. And it's like, I should have listened. I should have paid attention to those red flags or your instincts. Now listen, your instincts are there for a reason. And a lot of times we get it wrong because we ignore it, right? We think, I'm tripping, or it ain't really that serious. But no. In church or whatever they call it, your spirit man. Your spirit man, your spirit person is trying to tell you something, but we ignore those a lot, right? Or somebody will agree or try to pass you off as crazy. Oh, you tripping. You just making up stuff. It ain't no instincts. You just,
right. Or the fact that we know it's there, but we just won't accept it because we want what we desire.
Exactly. Exactly right. And so Pioneer says, Queen, I didn't hear that story about Stephen King, but I believe it after tricking you not have any contact with the spirits or your ancestors. They are deeply involved with them. I don't avoid it, but I ain't looking for nothing now. I ain't trying to welcome nothing in, open the door, like, come on in, that's just, I'm in the middle with it, right? So I like my mom will visit me in my dreams sometimes, and it's like very real and things like that. My grandmother, I used to dream about her a lot, but nothing too like, and sometimes I do believe I hear things like clear as day, but other than that, nothing, I ain't trying to really invite nothing like that. Sharon says, God is good all the time. I also say, as Black people, we have the gift, just don't use it. Yep, we're not in tune, right? And then Pioneer says, take atheism. White folks in college or on television will say they are atheists, but when you drill them on it, they'll say they believe in the creator, just not the modern concept of God.
Yeah, all these folks about I'm an atheist, they believe in something, trust me. If it ain't the mighty dollar, they believe in something. So
something is their God. And Marty says, sometimes what's understood need not to be explained. You shouldn't have to tell a person to leave well enough alone. Let's be clear, but this country is jacked up and is cursed from back in slavery. Yes, indeed. So I've heard of a lot of Ouija board stories and things like that. I know of somebody who was playing with a couple of their friends, if you will, and then the board. They heard something like, something had came to them and they were freaked out. So they were telling me about it. I'm like, why are you playing with that? Or like, what has you curious to where you want to play with those things?
Well, here's my question: if you are in such a curious mode to go to the afterlife, what are you waiting for? You don't need a Ouija board.
And I remember one time there was a house across the street from the house that I lived in, and there were some gypsies. That's what they called themselves, right? They lived in this house. And so they had just left in the middle of just up and left where they were like behind and rent and all that, kind of just ran roughshod over the lady's house. So me and Walter, my brother, and a couple of us went in the house because all the neighbors went in there just kind of looking to see what's going on. We were kind of curious, right? Like some gypsies, right? So we went in there and the house was a mess. And we left. Didn't think anything of it. Later on that night, I had wood floors in this house. Later on that night, and my brother Walter he was there. He was staying there. I heard some footsteps, and I thought it was my brother. I thought maybe he was getting ready to leave. It was in the middle of the night. So I get up, and then I go look, and he is knocked out on the couch. Nobody was awake. Everybody was asleep, just no movement. But I heard the footsteps as clear as day. And what came to me was, you had no business over there. You know, like sort of like curiosity kills the cat type of thing. You don't know what you are curious to see. That's what was told to me. And I was like, oh, you know, I'm sorry type of thing. But I was like, I ain't crazy. I heard footsteps like hard because, you know, Walter wears dress shoes. He especially did like back then. So I thought it was him walking on the floor, but it was just like tap, 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 tap. It woke me up, as a matter of fact. So believe it or not, Ripley's Believe It or Not. All right, so I'm gonna get to these last little comments here.
All right, nobody's guessed the horror movie with the best twist of all times. Nobody's guessed it yet. I've given a hint. It's based on a camping movie. Came out in the 80s.
Camp Sleepaway?
You got it. That's it. That's it.
Sleepaway.
Sleepaway
Okay.
camp. Sleepaway camp.
Sleepaway camp. Okay.
Those that never saw that movie, if you saw the movie all the way through, the twist was interesting.
I got another one too. I'm gonna bring it up in a minute. And Sharon says, I stopped talking about what I see and know. I just show them it's better. Let it happen. If they escape, give you that look. Nothing said. And Moni says, Donovan, remember this: he who laughs last will always laugh best. The same thing that makes you laugh today, turn around tomorrow and make you cry. Believe that white supremacy time is up and they are cursed as we speak. And Thunder says, if you look at the people who are going down to the country, Haiti and other places to learn voodoo and witchcraft, is mostly people of the dominant society. Oh, yes.
Yeah, only 2% of Haiti's population actually practices voodoo.
And it's big in Louisiana too, right?
Yeah, sort of, kind of, sort of. My mom knows a little bit about it, but you know.
And the Pioneer says, my previous point is that many white people claim to be atheists just to trick Black folks to being one, to thinking it's the smart thing to do. They know what they're doing, trying to turn your belief. Yeah, I mean, I think you're foolish to say that there's no creator, right? I just think it's a silly argument at this point. Hey, Leather and Luxury Cars, how you doing? And Sharon says, the mind is stronger than you think. The mind can move mountains. Yeah, my dad always says that, you know, we use less than 4% of our brain, or our mind rather. So you're absolutely right. Pioneer says, Thunder is absolutely correct. White people are going to Haiti and African villages, studying magic, voodoo, and as much as they can, while telling Black folks is evil and fake or primitive. Yep. And we believe it. And let's see here. Let's see where to go. And Thunder says, but some reason they teach us to run away from it. Yep. And Moni said, this is why if you look at after the assassination of the Haitian president, everything has been on edge. America doesn't want to help, but they don't have to help as long as they can keep us down and out. Yes, indeed. Sleepaway Camp has the greatest end twist of all horror movies. That's Donovan's. I have to check it out because I don't remember it. Moni says, as long as the whites can keep you without a job, without housing. They're happy about it. But their time is coming. That's why I'm glad for this plague. It's being making them have to shut down their businesses. Yes, that's where it's the way it's looking, right? Honeydew says, how about that stat 2%? What's that? Because I know I probably missed it. He says, but my East and West African friends totally believe in voodoo. And Thunder says, Scott Vasco, avoid the machines. It's very entertaining. All right. The movie I was thinking about was I Spit on Your Grave. That was
God, yeah, that was.
I Spit on Your Grave.
She went for revenge big time.
Okay, and then Ricky say before the gun, we ruled the land. They didn't have hands, so they built weapons. It's coming back around full circle. You better believe it. Thunder says, and watch they live. You will not be disappointed. Watch they live. Okay. And then Dan, maybe watch that tonight. And then Honeydew says about Haitians practicing voodoo. Oh, 2%. Okay, got it. So you're saying, how about that? Stat 2%. Yeah. Morning said, Donovan, you will always see UTC in our culture from the time. To see that does not mean that all of us are sellouts. Let's be clear. What happened with Amber Geiger is not the norm, and they know it. And Honeydew, you say most Jamaicans aren't Rastas.
Right, exactly.
All right, y'all. Well, I don't see any more comments, so we'll start to get out of here. I will read them as we leave. We thank y'all so much for being here with us on Free Flow Friday, the 13th. It was good having a conversation with you guys. And we don't always have to be serious. We can, have some fun. It's always entertaining, but we learned of some new horror movies. And we learned, about the afterlife, if you will, or ancestors and ghosts and things. Take from it what you will, but please do not be afraid. I don't go to church, but I do believe that greater is he that's in me than he that's in the world. When you know that, whoever that he or she is, within you, we are powerful people. Don't give over to things that seem scary. Right? Don't give it light. Don't give it energy. Because when you give those things light, it's fear, right? When you give fear energy, then fear does manifest in your life and it cripples you, right? So you have to move forward in faith and say, hey, you know what? I am powerful too. So anything that may want to do me harm, whether it's a real human or, something other than, you got to speak life into yourself. And you got to speak life into the universe and say, I am not afraid. I am also powerful. You should be afraid of me, right? So I just want you to know that. Never operate out of a place of fear, because Pioneer, you've been saying that throughout this, they, being white supremacy, have taught us to be fearful. And unfortunately, we as a people have been operating in fear ever since. I'm not talking about a few of us, who have tried to make a bold move. I'm talking about the collective. As a collective, we are paralyzed in the what if. What if we organize? What if we hold our votes? What if we actually hold them accountable, after we send them to the White House? What'll happen? We're afraid of the what if, and so we don't do anything, and we continue getting more of the same, which is nothing, right? So we got to be willing to set fear aside, because one thing is for sure, fear and faith cannot operate the same space. You can't be both at the same time. You're going to be fearful or you're going to be faithful. So anyway, I'll read you guys' comments as we get out of here. And let's see here. It says, yes, thank you. And Frankie said you're back and we get ready to get out of here. And Pioneer says, if the spirit world wasn't real, how did they know the sticking a wire in the air could capture sight and sound in the form of radio and television? A higher being had to tell them this. Yes. And he says, thank you. No, thank you. And Sharon says, I was driving near driving at night and they're trying to get my attention. So it finally did. And it changed a few colors, then smiled at me, had a face for real. Okay. Honeydew says, not the norm, but many Black people are pacifists, which conflicts with peer change. And Marty says, I think you need to follow and listen to Jennings to meet you, and especially Donovan, and look him up on YouTube. I think he'll put religion in its proper place for you and show you where you want to be. Okay. Thunder says that for the warriors, the 5 rings and the Hagakure. Okay. And she says facts. And Sharon says, yes, stay away from fear. Fear is really your friend. He says, can't work without you. Yes, indeed. And Donovan says a good movie to watch is not a horror movie, but it's a movie about knowing who we are once we were warriors. Okay. I'll put that up there. The Pioneer says, I don't believe most of what I see on those horror movies, but I do believe that they put out those zombie movies to condition us to what they may have planned. I've been suspecting that for some time. Yeah, especially if you watch The Purge, the one that was about black people. And thank you, Shimesh. Says good show. And Honeydew says, yes, so true about what ifs. I work on this every day. Another fun show. Y'all happy to be a member. Yes, indeed. And thank you so much. And lastly, Moni says, but the fact that Demetra, I'm naturally clairvoyant. I sense things. I ask God to leave me. Who should be around me and who should not? And God always shows me because he will remove those who ain't meant for me. I think he meant. Yes, indeed. So anyway, y'all, we are about to get out of here. We'll see you guys on Sunday for the Demetra K Show. It has been a blast and a pleasure to talk about horror movies and everything else on Free Flow Friday the 13th with you guys. You guys stay safe out there. Do something fun. Relax tonight. You know, just to take a load off. I'm sure everybody's had a... Sure.
Well, I just want to say this real quick. I got to tell you guys, we learned just as much from you guys as you guys learned from us. You guys, movie knowledge based. I mean, I was so impressed that you guys... Because Demetra says me and Al, we watch too many TV shows and movies and stuff. But it's good to know that I'm not the only one who actually, you know, watch different things and stuff like that. And of course, Deanna got the sleepaway camp thing. So obviously she's into that genre as well. So that's a great thing. But you guys did a great job in naming those movies. And it's just, hey, kudos to you guys. It's Friday the 13th. We had some fun. I thought it was a great thing. But do not forget, please like, share, and subscribe if you can. And, you know, and if you want, become a member. That way you get your notifications and all that great stuff. And, you know, and help the show go a little further. But you guys have a safe weekend. Please, please be safe. We'll see you guys on Sunday, 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
Yes, indeed. And Donovan, Deanna says she wants her $1,000 prize for getting the movie right. So hit her Cash App. All right, y'all. So we're about to get out of here. Speaking of Cash App, we do have one, PayPal or Venmo. If you guys want to contribute to the show, we appreciate that. And as always, we thank our members for subscribing for the membership. Much appreciated. And again, we have the Diva brand shop where there's a lot of nice t-shirts, hats, and bags and stuff. If you guys want to check it out, Black-owned business. I left the description or the link in the description box. Please check that out. But anyway, like Donovan said, we will see you guys on Sunday. And thank you, Marcus, for everything that you do behind the scenes to make the show go further. Peace.